Welcome back, everyone. You know, I like to say that when I'm doing my replays, we're hanging out here, having fun, listening to everybody, listening to the show. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We will share the show later on. I'm going to go, and I'm so excited about bringing on my next guests. First of all, I love what they do, and I thank you for your service, too. I have with me Jeff McGrath, and he is the owner and Chief Investigator Officer of 3 Laws Recon. Welcome to the show. You have to tell everybody who you brought with you because you have someone with you that you work together with. So welcome to the show and tell everybody a little bit about what you do. Go ahead.
Thank you, Carol. I am Jeff McGrath. I'm the Chief Investigative Officer of 3 Laws Recon Investigations. I brought with me Jim Archer. He's another private investigator that we tag team a lot of cases together. So Jim and I work. He has a separate company, Intuitive Research Group, but we work together and work out of the same office. So that's us.
So I want to talk a bit about you, okay? Because we got to know each other for quite a bit while we had this replay beforehand, and I want to talk about your services and who would call you. The first thing is, who do you work with?
Well, I work with my main client is usually a defense attorney. And it's somebody who's facing serious trouble, looking at prison time for some vehicular crime. So the attorney would call me and say, I need an expert to reconstruct what happened on the roadway at that time. So that's where I come in. That's the main person that would call me. Now, I've had insurance companies call me. I have private clients that call me. Just about anybody who's been in the vehicle and been in a collision has called me.
Now, so I want to make it very clear for people to understand that we're not talking about if you're looking for your ex-husband cheating on you.
No.
Or your husband. Okay, this is not what we're talking about. This is quite different. So an example would be, you talked a story earlier, tell them a little bit about one of them.
Yeah, an example of what we do is it's strictly criminal based. And we work in conjunction a lot of times with the defense side. Could be the prosecution if they need it. But for example, we have a case where a gentleman went missing in the West Valley. Young African-American man. He was a geologist. And they found the vehicle a month later. And when the vehicle was found, the police wrote a report saying he crashed, wandered off somewhere, possibly joined the monastery. There was all kinds of stuff. I got called in to look at it. And that's where I downloaded the actual components to the vehicle, the airbag control modules, and looked at the events that happened. And I was able to determine that vehicle was crashed somewhere else. And it was there. That's the secondary location. So that stirred up a whole rat's nest, and that took us on a nationwide ride at that point.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, you help families, people,
yes,
and you also help people who have been in an accident, and let's say you've been now charged for something, you did something that was an accident, bad things happen to good people.
Yes.
It's all about finding out what happened. Now, you might be an attorney listening. We know you have a lot of them listen. Maybe you're needing to have somebody like this on your side that they know they can call. Or maybe yourself were in something, your son or daughter, and you want to find out, did that really happen? Now, I had asked you earlier before you came on whether or not there was a statute of limitations, and I want to talk about that because
Sure.
I want them to understand, you just can't call after 4 years or something like that.
Yeah, if you've already been charged criminally with some vehicular crime, in this case, or any crime, and you've already gone through the legal system and you've pled guilty, you did your time, paid your fine, whatever, we can't go back and change that. Now, if you're currently in the process and you're saying, I don't know what to do, and if you don't, sometimes, believe it or not, the police get it wrong. And that's why we come in.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Quite
of
a bit.
course they do.
Quite
a
a
lot.
bit. Quite a bit. So we find that. We're fact finders, and we find the facts of what happened, and then we present that along with an attorney to the courts and testify.
How did you get into this type of work?
Well, I started in this work as a police officer. I was a police officer in one of the cities out here in the valley, and in 2004, I got into what's called the Traffic Services Bureau, which was a motorcycle cop. And with that came all this training to learn how to reconstruct accidents. Then I became a specialist in vehicular crimes detective. I did that. I've been doing it since 2004. I started my company after a medical retirement in 2016, and I've been working solid since.
Now, when people call you, they can call 602. The number is 908 1278. His website is the number 3 Laws with an S, Recon.com. You also have with you James Archer.
Yes.
James, I want you to talk about what you do first for right now within this company and how do you help?
Well, my name is James Archer, and I own Intuitive Research Group. And Jeff and I collaborated about a year and a half ago after I retired as a police officer. I've been a police officer for a little bit more than 20 years and retired recently, so it was a good fit for me to incorporate my knowledge as a detective into his business, and we collaborate on many different levels. With Jeff, we investigate a lot of traffic incidents, as he described, and I do a lot of videography and photography. And when we go out to a scene, it benefits him because it's a second set of eyes. And as a detective, not being in the traffic bureau, it's good for him to listen to a homicide detective who's seen other things other than just homicides. But if we're investigating a deadly crash scene, it has a different spin on it for me than from what he's doing. So we collaborate.
Second set of eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
So I also want to make it very clear for people that are listening. If you're an offender bender, you're not calling them, right?
You
not-
can.
You can?
You can.
Okay. You said it before you came on. That you talk to anyone.
I did. I will talk to anyone because I have a lot of people that have called me and said, I had this accident and the police just came and wrote a report and it's wrong. It's not what really happened. And now the insurance company is coming after me. And so I go back and I reinvestigate it. I'll write a report and send it off to the insurance company and say, these were my findings. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, anybody can call me.
They can check you out on the website, which is the number 3 Laws, Recon.com. And on your website, does it have your information about you and what you are within this company as well? So can they check you out there?
Yes, they can.
Okay, so and that is irgaz.com. You can call either of them. They're going to talk to you. They're going to find out what's going on. Again, that number for it could either be for Jeff or James. Then so we've got 602-541-5172 or 602-908-1278. You do complimentary consultations. You've got to find out what's going on, what's the case, what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you take it to the next level then, and then, of course, they pay you from there.
Yeah, we look at things, and Jim and I work together not just in the vehicular crimes arena. My company and Jim's company, we get missing persons, we get homicides, cold case homicides, we get robberies, we get everything criminal related.
I bet.
And so that's where Jim comes in, because I have a specialty in traffic, in vehicles,
Okay.
and Jim was a homicide detective.
Because in both ways, they help tremendously.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, obviously, if you've been in an accident, if you feel like you've been robbed, wronged. They can help you find out whether you have a case or
Absolutely.
not. Right?
Yes.
We want to talk also about anyone that's listening that might have have a missing person, right? You just recently found somebody, or you were looking.
We're getting calls from all over the country now for missing persons, and we started to go down that avenue. We work with some people outside of the state as well, but we have resources to help, and we have knowledge. Being sometimes missing persons are the homicides. That's where Jim comes in.
Sure.
Sometimes they find the vehicle, and I got to figure out what's going on. So.
And the good news is that you find them. That's the really good news, and that's what I love about this, because sometimes we need that extra help. Whether you're an attorney, whether you're just someone who has gotten into a situation, they need a little bit of help, a little extra set of eyes. Find out what's going on. That's their job to help you. You can check them out on either of the websites. It's the number 3 Laws, Recon.com or irgaz.com. Their phone numbers are 602-541-5172 or 602-908-1278. They do complimentary consultations. Let's find out what's going on, and then they'll take an intake from there. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further about some of the things that they can help with. Super interesting, guys. And then, of course, we're going to talk about something even more special afterwards. Again, that number to call them is 602-541-7152 or 602-908-1278. Hang tight. We're going to be back in just a minute. we're still live in this room, so we're going to keep on going because we're live on Facebook.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I want to add, first of all, do you like it?
Love it.
Yeah?
Love it.
Okay. So I'm trying to get to everything in a sense, and I'm trying to get into more detail. Okay.
Okay.
I like going narrow and deep on things.
Sure.
I really,
Sure.
really do. And if there's anything else that you would like to bring into this, you can let me
and
know.
you can-
Okay.
Okay. What's your favorite part about what you do?
Mine is the solving the puzzle.
That's it right there. It's,
Yeah.
You know, the big thing for me was always having been trying to get the pieces of the puzzle put
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Right. It's solving a puzzle. That's
It's-
really what it is.
Yeah. When I get done with a case and I've got dry erase boards covered with calculations and I'm pulling my hair out and I finally get down to 62.3 miles an hour and I go, okay, I just figured out what happened here. So that's my aha moment where I
Right.
go,
Fun
oh,
thing for me is when he's doing this kind of stuff and I'm looking at what he's got and he's trying to think of the missing pieces, I'll come in blind.
Yes.
Or I don't do reconstructions per se. So I look at it and I'm like, well, did you check this? Did you look at that? No. Let's try
It's
that.
fascinating.
Yeah.
because I think in physics, and that's what the 3 laws recon is. It's 3 laws of motion. Isaac Newton's, and so that's what I do. And so I'm always thinking in physics, where he comes from an outside look and goes, "What about this?" Oh, didn't think of
We
that.
didn't think of it. Sometimes we need that, right?
Yeah.
And that's what makes the team
Exactly.
and makes it work. I am going to ask you some questions that I've written down that I want to kind of go over
Sure.
with you as well.
Absolutely.
And I didn't ask you what the 3 meant, 3 laws in recon
okay.
meant, but you can either say that or not. Is it like when you're on television?
Depends
Yeah.
on what
Is it
show.
pretty much the same?
This is kind of the speed of. I wanted to say it was the Dateline program that had me on because they were going through because they were doing a live thing, and then the other ones were laid back because they're taping it. They can go back and redo things.
So yeah, that's a different,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's quite different. I did a television show too.
What'd you do?
Yeah. Channel 7 AZTV on Saturdays from 12 to 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was like a lot of fun, but I'm not doing it right now. I did it we did it, we're going to do our 2nd season, but then COVID came and I'm like, no way, not right now.
Okay.
Stop the beat.
So welcome back, everyone. I love talking about this kind of stuff because, we've got Dateline, we've got all those TV shows, Forensic Files and everything. I'm fascinated by it because what I love is the closure that people get, the families. You say anyone can call you, and it could be, you talk a lot about for your side of it as the accident from car wrecks and things like that. And I wanted to ask you something I wrote down because we got a lot of crazy drivers out there, and
Yes,
I just
we
want to
do.
ask, do you find there are a lot of them lately?
I
Did it
find them.
happen to involve a lot of trucks that are going super fast? No, I didn't. I'm choking because do you find it on the rise?
I find it's usually on the rise in the summertime. The heat does something to people.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
But I'm finding it, our valley's getting more crowded, and I am seeing more of them. And I testify in court as an expert in Arizona traffic law, so I see it all the time. And there's times, Jim can attest to this, I'll be driving my car around, and I go to reach for my lights to pull somebody over. I'm like, oh, I don't do that anymore. That's right.
Well, but it's a different thing that you do. And I
Yes.
think that's wonderful. A attorney may call you.
Yes.
And then the attorney calls you because they're stuck. Why do they call?
Well, what they do is any attorney or any insurance company that is looking at investigating an accident, and they're gonna try to defend somebody or prosecute somebody, you need to have an expert look at it because there's so many details in a collision. It's not just go out there and look at
It's
the
not a
damage.
slam dunk all the time.
No, and you don't just look at the cars and go, well, that guy was hauling, so we're going to charge him. Sometimes that's how they do it, but that's wrong. because there's so much more to it. And you have to determine, just because the cars look really crumpled does not mean anybody was going too fast, or it does not mean somebody needs to go to prison over this. I get a lot of vehicular homicides, a lot of them.
And we have a lot here.
Yes, I mean, I'm full of homicide cases right now, vehicular. So, I mean, it's every day, and it's every age.
We also want to make sure people understand that being that they do these investigations and saying that you're an investigator, they're not checking out on where your ex-husband is, your husband's, or all of that kind of stuff. That's not what this is about. This is something else. And I think it's very important that people write this number down. You never know when you can use it.
That's
and
right.
you do free consultations. They have two people that you can work with. There's two sets of eyes here. And so one number is 602-908-1278. The other one is 602-541-5172. It's 3, the number 3, laws with an S, recon.com or IRGAZ.com. Okay.
Can I add one thing? real quick?
Absolutely.
We have more than Jim and myself. I have 4 other investigators that work for me, and they all have a different specialty. So that's how we branch out, and sometimes we all work on the same case.
Give them ideas too. Obviously, missing person.
Oh yeah, we do anything you've been charged with criminally or charging somebody criminally, and you need a full, thorough investigation on that. Because let's say you get charged with domestic violence.
I was just going to ask you,
yeah.
but then I thought, no.
We look
You-
at we
you do?
look into that.
Okay.
Yeah, we work into that. We go back and we interview all the police. We look at all the body cam. We watch everything.
That's
we
huge
do the
because
interviews.
a lot of people are fighting.
There are, and a lot of people are going to jail falsely. So it's not hard to get yourself put in jail.
Unfortunately,
And-
if they want, if you,
Yeah.
you know, especially when you're dealing with domestic violence,
Yeah,
unfortunately
it's very-
now, one person hits somebody, pushed somebody, whatever,
That's
they're
it.
in there. But when you deal with it at that level,
Mm-hmm.
is it something that's super bad? They shot them, they whatever, or
Well,
does it matter?
it can be. I've had roommates get into a fight over music and shoot. One of them shot the other one. I mean, I've had that, and that was a homicide. It turned out to be different than that. It always looks like that on the front, but it turned out to be much different. This guy was in fear for his life. So we were able to help in that situation. It's a husband-wife situation that is an ongoing thing. Those are difficult. Those are really difficult because sometimes there's a history there
Pattern.
that's going on. Yeah, yeah. So it depends. We look at everything.
You know, the other thing is that people need to listen up for this because there are a lot of people, like today, I know a lot of kids, they drink, they're at a party.
Yes.
God forbid something happens.
God forbid.
And then you have you can call them. It doesn't have to be an attorney that's calling them. You can actually call them. They can talk to you, find out what's going on, what happened, what is the case, and you'll be able to know right away.
Absolutely. And I have attorneys I could point you in the direction of based on what happened. So
Now, I want to, when you're talking, because
Yes.
we're going to talk a little bit about your other business that you do too, but I want to ask you, because you said that 3 laws recon equals what? What does it mean?
it's actually 3 laws of motion. It's Isaac Newton's 3 laws of motion. That's what we work in. It's physics. Everything you do out there on the road and in a car involves Isaac Newton's 3 laws of motion.
And your side of it is the?
My side is just basic criminal. I can pretty much do anything within reason, but I also support Jeff, and so that's where a lot of my business comes in from Jeff. And he always says, if I can't handle it, then I've got somebody else who can do it immediately. He'll point it to my direction, and I can handle it, and I have handled it in the past.
Yes.
So I have to ask you this too, real quickly, just before we talk about your other businesses. I want to know, is it on the rise too? A lot of people are angry. A lot of people are crazy these days. You're finding more and more, is it on the rise?
It is on the rise, but it's also a population-based thing. It's a demographic thing, and when you get more people in an area like Arizona, that's a hot spot to move, then you're going to get more business, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. You also have another company that you wanted to kind of talk about. Let's talk about it. What's the name of it?
It's Archer Coffee Company,
Okay.
and I just started it. It's a simple drop ship coffee company where you can go to my website, archercoffeecompany.com, order pretty much any kind of coffee, from K-Cup to bulk coffee, and get it shipped to you. So when you order it, it's not brewed until you order it, or roasted until you order it. And then they ship it to you, and It's really simple.
So you said right now one of the nice coffees that you have is the pumpkin spice.
Yes.
Okay, everybody loves that.
Seasonal.
And yes, and then how do they do it? They go up onto your website and purchase it. So they go up there and you have a list of all of the different coffees that you have. You ship nationwide?
Yes.
Okay.
Free
so
shipping.
It's free shipping as well?
Right.
So how much coffee can they could buy anywhere from what?
You can buy a sampler pack of K-Cups, which is it's a great thing in the morning. I use them. And you can buy increments and sizes all the way up to 5-pound bags if you want.
Wow.
You can get it either ground.
Why did you
or
start
heated.
this?
You know, I've always liked coffee, and I wanted to try something different. I wanted to branch out, and I continue to branch out, and I'm sure that more things in the future will come. But,
So give them some of the different kinds of coffees that you got. Flavors, come on.
I got caramel, I got the pumpkin spice, I've got Colombian. There's all different kinds.
What's your favorite?
The caramel turtle.
Caramel turtle.
Yeah.
What's the difference between caramel and caramel turtle?
It's just more chocolatey.
Oh, it has a little
combination.
chocolatey in
Yeah,
there?
it's
That's
good.
fun. So again, they go up onto your website, which is Archer Coffee Company. Is that the one that they go to?
Correct.
So it's archercoffeecompany.com.
Right.
Okay. And to buy it for me if you don't want it for yourself. But it's so, you know, and do you have gifts on there? Like if they wanted to do, because right now is a big time of the year that people are going to start buying. Do you have gift packages and things like that?
Not yet, but what I've done to start that process, I've reduced the prices.
Okay, so you're
So-
doing a reduced price right now?
Right.
Okay, so tell me what that is.
So that's the new campaign that I started. I moved all the prices down for the holiday season. And I put it out there on Instagram and I put it out there on Facebook that, you know, prices have been reduced.
Do people buy it just for themselves on a regular basis? Do they buy it for the office? Does it matter how much they buy and how it works?
All of the above.
Okay.
You can buy for whatever. I buy for our office, so I buy my own product.
What I liked what you said is it gets roasted just before they ship it,
Right.
so it is as fresh can be,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
And you said your favorite is which one?
Caramel.
The
turtle.
caramel turtle,
Yeah.
right? And how many different flavors are there? Don't name them off, but how many different ones?
There's got to be at least 15.
You got decaf as well as
yeah.
regular?
Right.
Okay, so you can check it out on their website. It is Archer Coffee Company. They do also ship nationwide, you said, for free. For free. And for the holidays, they just lowered the prices. So, you know, today, unfortunately, we live in an economy where you got to have a couple of businesses going along,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm,
Otherwise, you're not. So it's kind of neat that you did this. The reason why you need it, I figured it out. You're up all night trying to figure out, right, what's going on with their case. You need the coffee to stay up.
Burn on the midnight oil.
Burning the
coffee
midnight
drinking
oil. That's really funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so congratulations on that side of that too. And for all of the work that you've done, obviously the service that you have given us for your service, thank you for that. But also, I think it has to be so rewarding for you when you get that aha moment of, like, for instance, when you said that you found the car. Right? And they said,
Yes.
well, he probably just left it, and
Yeah.
who knows.
Wandered off.
But guess what, folks? You came in,
Yeah.
you found out, no, this car was placed here. It was something happened.
It crashed somewhere else because there were 11 additional miles on it since the airbag deployment. There were 47 additional ignition cycles. That tells me that car wasn't crashed there. It was crashed somewhere else, attempted to start numerous times. They finally got it, and it ended up in that destination.
And yet you would think the cops would just know that.
Well, they should. And in this instance, they pushed back on me because it made them look bad. So they dug their heels in and they fought me on this one. And I believe they're still fighting me over it. I don't know.
Well, but it doesn't matter, right? What
Doesn't
really,
matter.
really, truly matters is sometimes we need to have somebody digging a little bit deeper. We want you to understand, yes, they work with attorneys, for sure they work with attorneys, but anyone can call them. Find out, do you have a case where this kind of comes into play? Again, give them some ideas about the types of cases that you work with.
Well, anything from you're driving down the road and you have an accident, like everybody's had an accident, and then all of a sudden the police are charging you, whether it be a criminal citation they're giving you because of some law you violated, or they're booking you into jail. You might want to have somebody look at that because a lot of times you'll say, I didn't do this. They don't care.
That phone number to call them both direct is 602-908-1278 or 602-541-5172.